Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Thank you for always coming back, and if you are a first timer, you are also welcome. Please do not forget to subscribe and also hit the notification bell so that you can get notified whenever I upload a new video. Please subscribe, like and share my video, and as you do so, God bless you. Thank you so much once again. So let's go into today's tutorial. Today is about how to draft pants, a pant trouser. So I would be using a pattern, as I told us in my earlier video, my last video. I said I will be teaching us basically how to draft different styles on pattern. So when it is time to start sewing, we will just be placing our measurements, we'll be placing our pattern on our fabric, then we'll cut it out so that there won't be anything like mistake. In fact, it is very good to have your work cut on your pattern, so you won't have to waste a lot of material. The only thing you will just do is place your material on it, then cut it out. So our upcoming videos now, when I that is probably okay, let me say, if we've done a lot of pattern drafting, or at any time, I will just be showing us how to sew. So in that video, it will be how to cut it out and how to sew it, how to make it look neat. So that will be what we'll be doing in her videos. So once we get how to draft it now, it's very easy. We'll just be placing it on our fabric, then we'll cut it out. So yeah, one thing, you will need your pattern paper, you need your scissors, you need your tape rule, your ruler, and your marker. And so let's go into today's business. So when you can remember that when you're buying a trouser, or if you can look at one of your trousers you have at home, there is always a band at the top, and which would be also taken into consideration while drafting our paper. So I would be using 2 inches band, and so whenever we are taking all our measurement, we would have to consider the band. That is, by placing our measurement 2 inches outside this way, like this way, I'll be placing the 2 inches outside this way, because I will still be joining it back to the trouser so that you can get the accurate measurement. You have to do this. So I'll be placing it. So for the purpose of all the measurements I'll be taking now, these 2 inches, I would be putting it out here. So the length of my pattern paper, the trouser I'm drafting today, is 40. So you would need your waist measurement, you need your hip measurement, the crotch, you will need the knee, and also the length. Even the knee, it depends on how good you are, but let me say the knee measurement. So this is it. I will start by taking this. Will serve as my starting point, but do not forget I said I'll be putting out 2 inches out this way. Then I'll take my measurement. So from my waist to for my waist to the hip is 9 inches. I will mark 9 inches. That is, you can see I have to place the 2 inches here, because by the time I join the 2 inch, it will be 9 inch. You understand? It will be 9 inch. That will serve as the waist. So I'll mark it. I'll mark the 9 inch here. I'll mark the 9 inch here. Oh, this marker is not too. Let me see. I'll mark the 9. Okay, sorry. Yeah, I'll mark the 9 inches here. What's wrong today? Let me go. The marker is dry. I don't really know what's wrong. Okay, let me try this one. Okay, which one did I try? Okay, let me try this one. Yeah, so this one should be okay. This one is okay. So you see, this is my hip. My hip. And from your hip, you take, to get your crotch measurement from your hip, it can be 2, it can be 3, it can be 4. It depends on your client. But for this tutorial, I'll be using 3 inches. And if I'm sewing palazzo, I like to use 4. As I like, it depends on how your client actually wants it so free, because me, I don't like when my trouser is so tight at the crotch length, so that at the crotch part. so that I'll be able to bend very well, stand very well, sit very well. Once it is tight, you'll be able to bend well, and if you bend down the way that your trouser can tear. So me, I will use 3 here. I will use 3. You can use 4. It depends on whatever works for you. So I will use 3 for today, and then I will mark it from 2, 3, 4. They are still normal. It depends on your client measurement. So I told you, I said the length of my pattern, my trouser is 40, and to get the knee measurement, I'll divide it by 2, which will make it 20. So I'll place my 20 inches measurement. Do not forget, you put your 2 inches outside this way, and then place my 20 inches measurement. That's for the knee. Then I would take my, this nail is just to guide you on how to shape it. That's all. This is the knee, this is the crotch, this is the knee, you see. So let's go. Before we start inserting our measurement, then you have to do this first. Do not forget, if you are drafting direct on your fabric, it has to be folded in 2, but because this is pattern, I'll be placing it on my fabric, so I don't need to fold it in 2. So at the top here, it depends on how curvy your client is. At the top here, I will take half and quarter inch in. In fact, let me take 1 inch in. It depends on how curvy your client is. At this edge here, that is at the waist top, I will take 1 inch in. I will mark it here. Then I will now come to the edge of my my trouser, that is my pattern. I'll come to the edge of my pattern. Let me adjust so that so I'll come to the edge of my pattern here. I will take in 1.5 inch. This is how I see it. You see, 1.5 inch. Then I will connect the measurement from the 1 inch I took up here. I will connect it to my hip line this way. I want you to see the way I'm doing it. I will connect it to my hip line this way. My hip line this way. Oh, I'm trying to see. I want you to see it very well. Okay. I will connect it from this 1 inch I took in here. I will connect it this way. So let's go. I will connect it in. I will connect it to the hip. Then to the hip, I'll just shape it a little bit to form the hip. Then connect it down. You use your long ruler. I don't have a long ruler, so I will use whatever I have. Then I'll connect it down to the 1.5 inch I took at the bottom to meet what I have up. Don't forget, it depends on, you see. See, I connected it. It's forming our measurement already. See what I did? You see, I connected it this way to meet the 1.5 inch I took here, and then I will then place my measurement. I'll place my measurement. So at the waist here, the waist I am working with is 30 divided by 4. Don't forget, you are dividing every of the measurements by 4 is 7.5. I'll place my measurement here. I will also be including that. So that measurement, I will include 1 inch for that, and then 2 inch for sewing allowance, making 3 at the waist top. I'll put 1 inch for that and 2 inch for sewing allowance at the waist here. So at the hip, the measurement I'm using is 40 divided by 4 is 10. I'll place the 10 here. You see, at that point I'll place the 10 here. Then sewing allowance, I don't need that because my dart won't get there. Sewing allowance 2 inch, I'll put it there. Then I will come down to my crotch length. The crotch length is your lap. You measure around it, your lap, the biggest part at the top part, you measure around it, you divide it by 2, and this one is 24. The 24 divided by 2 is 12. I'll place my measurement 12 here. Then I would insert my sewing allowance. I will use 1.5 here, so that I'll use 1.5 here. Let me see, I'll use 1.5 here. So my knee here, so I will come down here. It depends on the round measurement you want to. It depends on the round measurement you want to insert. Your client wants, that is what you put here. You measure it, and if your client wants it free. But for me, I won't be placing like that. I would shape it I will shape it myself. I don't really want it. It's not a tight trouser, but if you really want it to be a pencil, you measure your client's round knee measurement, the down part. You measure it round, you divide it by 2, then you place it. So now the next thing I'll be doing now is I would connect my lines. This is how you will connect it. This is your cross line. I will then connect it. I'll connect this, my hip, to my waistline. See, I've connected it to the waistline. Then I would have to connect this. I'll curve it. We'll curve it this way. See, you see, to meet this part, you curve it. It's so simple. Just curve it. Then from there, I would shape out my measurements. You measure your client's knee. If it is pants, if it is pencil, pencil has to be fitted. You measure the knee measurement. You measure the ankle measurement too. So, but for here, I would just, I'm only improvising because I don't want it to be free. Then you connect it. See the way I'm connecting. Then you connect it down to your connected down. Depends on how you want it. It's not, see, I've connected it all the way down. And so before I would cut, there's something I need to input. First, I'll put the dart. My dart, I would like to use 6 inches. And do not forget that when you are taking your measurement, you put 2 inch up here. So the 2 inch I'll place it this way, then mark the 6 inches. So this is the 6 inches, you see. So I'll come here, your nipple to nipple measurement. I'm using 4 for this. I'll mark the 4 here at this point where I marked 1 inches in on the waistline. I've marked my 4 inches this way. I've marked it. Then I came down by 6 inches. This is the 6 inches here. So at this point, I will take, it's 1 inch that I included there, so it will be half an inch, and cut half an inch, yes, on each side. So I'll connect it this way, then connect my dart this way and this way. See how I did it? I want to show you. You see, you connect it that way. You see, just connect it half an inch this side, half an inch this side, then connect it. So at this top here, we'll come down by 1 inch here at this place, because so that you can be able to see it very well. We'll be including it back at our back measurement. Then I will slant it this way. I will slant it this way to give your trouser a nice shape. You can see I took 1 inch here, then I slanted it this way. So the next thing is I would cut it out. So I'll be cutting the front parts out now, and this is how I will be doing that. First I would cut it. So I'll take it also on this part. So you see, now I will then slant this part that I slanted. If you can see it very well, you see this is the 1 inch here. So I'll then cut it this way. See, so now we have our front panel pant trousers. Wash it. See, you see that? So this will serve as the front part. So for the back part, I will just place my front part on the fabric, the pattern I'll be using for the back part. And one thing you need to know, there's not much at the back part. One thing you just need to do is that when you are placing your pattern on the fabric for the back part, you have to come down by 2 inches, so that at the top here, if you can see what I'm talking about, this is what I'm talking about. This is my pattern. So I had to put extra space here, because I would be returning the 1 inch that I removed from the front part to this part. So you have to place it this way so that you can be able to place it back. The only thing I'll be doing here is I'll come back and come here. I'll come to this part. I would mark my 1 inch, and this is so that you can be able to sit down very well. In fact, I will use 1.5 inch so that you can be able to sit down very well because of the pot. So I'll place my 1.5 inch here. You see, that's just. Then I will come to this place at my cross line. I would add 1 inch at my cross line. I would add 1 inch. I would add 1 inch. I said 1.5. Let me see. 1.5. Okay. I had to use. In fact, you can use office pin, so I had to use a sellotape to hold it down so that it won't move. Okay. I'll do the same here too, so that it won't move. So at this point, I would come here and add at my cross line. I would add extra inch. I'll add like 1 inch. 1 inch. So I'll come here, out here at this point. That's for the back. That's the only thing you will do for the back. At this point here, I would add like 1/2 inch all around. half inch, you see, half inch. I've come this half inch, I had like half inch all around, then half inch, then you connect it. So what I'll do is I'll connect my half inch. Don't mind, it's because I'm using pattern, it's not easy to, but I'll connect the half inch straight to the point where I marked 1.5 at the top here. Then I'll connect it to the 1 inch at my crochet line here. Then at this part, I would add half inch to all around. You can even add 1 inch, it depends on you. I'll then connect it down. You see, I'll connect it all the way down. You just connect it that way. So the major thing you need to do here is so I will now come down to, I marked 1.5 inch here, so I will connect that line to this edge. You see, I'll connect it this way. From here, I'll connect it to the edge where, see. So if you can see very well now, let me put it up so that you see that I've added the 1 inch. The 1 inch we removed here, I added it back. You see? Did you see how it goes now? That's for the back. So I will then cut it out, and that is all for the trouser, how to draft a trouser. So I would cut it out this way, and okay, I have to use this to hold it so that it doesn't move. But before I will do that, because of what I'm using, I will just shape it from the end of the pattern paper. I'll do this. Don't mind my pattern paper. It's it's pattern paper. It won't stay one piece. Just manage. And this brown paper is not this white one. I don't know. I still prefer this because of the length. Then I will now come down to this top part, this upper part here, where we connected. You see. Then I would shape it out. You can see that the back part, you don't even need to stress yourself. Once you get your measurements right at the front part. So I am cutting it out now. yeah, so this is what you should by the time you are through with the cotton. You can see this is what I have. This is what I have. You see, this is the front part and this is the back part. I want to show you very well. I hope you can see it beautiful. Let me show you from the top. This is it. This is the waist measurement. This is the dart hip. This is the cross line, and this is the knee. This is the front part, and this will be your back part. See? Let me. So this will show it to this tutorial. Thank you for watching. God bless you.